You're back with another one. This time we got most introverted, but badass character. I'm over here messing up because I'm thinking I said a word that wasn't even there. We got introverted but badass characters in anime by VinnyTube. Still love some VinnyTube around here. Still love some VinnyTube. I'm just gonna get into it. It's coming up soon. It's coming soon.
Introverts are cool. Period. Yeah, totally no biases there just because I consider myself one. On a serious note though, anime's shown us that despite not shouting out friendship or resolve speeches compared to their louder cousins, introverts in anime also tend to be as badass as they can be. Perhaps it's because a lot of them have a more stable foundation, drawing strength from their own beliefs within instead of from friends or their mentors. Perhaps it's also because it's just more surprising to see the quiet, emotionless guy unload an ass-kicking for the ages to a hapless foe. Whatever it is, I just find anime introverts really cool and badass, and for today, I want to introduce you to some of my favorites. However, for today, we'll not have this done in the form of a countdown video. I won't be ranking these 8 characters because I want to give them equal shine in this newer format of video that I've been doing the past few months or so. So before we start the video, I'd like to encourage you to hit the subscribe button. Each subscribe means so much to me, and I want nothing better than to grow the channel with your help. Let's work together to make this the #1 anime countdown channel on YouTube, shall we? It may be an effect of the seasonal cycle and recency bias, but I'd like to start things off with Rai.
Oh, he's just gonna go straight into it. I was waiting for the pause and the things to him talking to say something.
Noblesse's lead
He's
is
good
pretty
at this,
much
I
what the
guess.
stereotypical image of a badass anime introvert is. Dark, broody, handsome, and very, very much overpowered. Overpowered alone doesn't seem to do justice to this ageless noble with a plethora of insane powers and a limitless amount of swagger. He mostly keeps to himself, but cross him and you'll find yourself in a world of regret at the hands of his vampiric powers. This is one awesome and badass introverted anime, and I just can't get enough of Rai. You can catch Rai in Noblesse, but I have to warn you about something beforehand. You have to watch the prequel OVA if you intend to watch the series, because the series did the weird thing where much of the introduction arc was skipped. A lot of people were caught off guard by this, and I think that's too bad if they drop the series because of this decision. They won't be able to see Rai at his peak awesomeness.
Yeah, that's always a weird decision. Why would you start in the middle of a story? Who does that?
A lot of these anime introverts find themselves in schools, and what better series to pick our next spotlight character than from My Hero Academia. The funny thing about My Hero Academia is that with its slew of characters with colourful personalities and traits, it would be easy to pick a badass introvert among them, and while there's a lot of them, I'm leaning towards Tamaki Amajiki for this list. I mean, how could you not after seeing what kind of powers he has? His hero name, Sun Eater, is more than fitting given how he can eat anything and manifest powers from them. It's not every day we get to see this kind of twist on the mechanic of bodily transformation powers. Talk about Kirby in Overdrive. Outside battle, I also find him a very interesting character. I mean, there are a lot of introverts with awesome backstories of their own like Todoroki, but I personally resonate the most with Amajiki due to his cynicism. He's just so socially awkward that you can't help but want to give him a hug or some words of encouragement, although he'll probably just turn those away the way he usually does. Speaking of people that you can't help but want to comfort, next we have Homura.
He be going straight into these, but Sun Eater was so cool, bro. I love Sun Eater. He's like, his powers are like the coolest in the show. Like I literally last video just went on a rant about how cool the powers are in One Piece and how they're used. My Hero's the same shit. My Hero's just as cool. I'm eating something and you're just able to use that. That's like such a specific thing, but only for that person. Because someone could have like a similar power, but it be activated a completely different way. Like that's cool as hell. That's cool. That's all I gotta say about that's cool. That's cool.
When she was first introduced to the series, Homura is pretty much the standoffish rival character you'd expect to find in a magical girl anime. Quiet, frank to a fault, and seemingly lacking in tact, all while she efficiently guns down and destroys enemies without breaking a sweat and looking all badass and fabulous while doing it. All this earns her little friendship points and love from the other magical girls, and she gets down in bitter confrontations with Sayaka in particular. But I'd like to think that behind every person like that, there's an equally troubling backstory somewhere, and I think that Homura has one of the most heart-wrenching ones. I don't want to spoil much of Madoka Magica, but I'll just say that if you've been through the amount of shit Homura has, it's not surprising to end up the way she is. You should go and watch it and proceed with Rebellion, which, despite not being my favourite way to unofficially end a series, caps off Homura's very well-crafted character arc.
Now, was Mob really an introvert? I guess he was. He could have been. He could have been. You know, just shy. Like shy and introvert. You know, because an introvert is not normally gonna ever like open up. They gonna like keep. You know, they gonna open up to a few people, but rarely. Like Mob was just like he just didn't want to be like he was just shy. You know, he didn't talk to people, but then like he was willing to go out, do this other stuff. He wanted to be outgoing. Yeah. I don't think he's an introvert. That's where I'm going with this. I don't know where I was going with that.
Homura is a master of keeping her emotions in check, but have you seen someone double time on that? I mean, he's someone whose powers are completely tied to how he's feeling. Yep, I'm talking about none other than Mob. Real name Shigeo Kageyama. Unassuming and rather awkward, Mob's someone who actively avoids losing control of his emotions. And can you blame him? I mean, Mob's whole shtick is that his powers rely on his emotions, and out of control feelings means people get hurt. As you can already tell, that's not the easiest task in the world, especially if you're someone who's quite socially awkward like Mob is. Having trouble reading the atmosphere and interacting with people in public is the least of this compassionate hero's worries. It's these traits that make it such a joy to see Mob in his flashes of heroism, where he overcomes the shell and taps into his psychic powers to help save the world. It makes him even more of a badass to unleash the various modes of his powers, in spite of all the psychological and emotional barriers that should have made those difficult, if not downright impossible. Mob is truly a joy to watch as a character, and that's what makes Mob Psycho 100 such a great show.
This man's breathing techniques are on point. He's just going non-stop. Like he's impressive with this. This show is a joy to watch. It's beautiful. Look at this glass. Like, oh my, oh.
But you know what doesn't make a good show? Pesky region locks. Enter the sponsors of this
get
video.
Your money, fam. Go ahead and get your money.
なくてもスプーンは曲がるし、当たりも外れも自由自在。まさに夢のような人生。
Oh, it's this show.
For some reason, there's one character that I always associate with Mob. Nope, it's not the strongest bald hero in the universe, but another badass introvert with psychic powers. If you guessed Saiki Kuso, you're absolutely correct. I just can't separate Mob Psycho and Saiki K apart for reasons more obvious to some. I mean, both have introverted characters who have psychic abilities. Both of them also really take good care of their emotions in fear of hurting others badly. However, Saiki's more of a stoic dude than someone more socially awkward like Mob. As for who's the better one amongst them, well,
he just
I can't really tell, but
out.
both are amazing in their own ways. I do feel that Saiki's a bit rougher around the edges, and he comes with his own sharp tongue full of snark. He also actively keeps people at bay compared to the former. How badass is Saiki really? Just look at the entire gallery of powers and tell me that's not an awesome character. Don't worry though, it's all played for laughs most of the time instead of making him an overpowered character that's meant to be taken too seriously.
かけよって言ってる場合じゃない。僕もなんとか完成させないと。
Same setup,
よし、
different
まずは軽く当たりを。ちょっと線を引くつもりが3割ほど完成してしまった。ダメだ、やり直しだ。
That was something I did not.
Who says badass introverts in anime are limited to humans? Legoshi's here to prove you wrong. Being a carnivore with such a fearsome reputation would do a number on anyone striving to just come to terms with the world around them. As such, Legoshi ends up being a quiet, withdrawn and sensitive wolf. Along with that comes some quirks, like struggling to connect with others, a fascination with certain items, and particular attention to detail. In any other world, people would think of him as that wimpy weirdo in school. However, when push comes to shove, Legoshi has shown himself to have one of the strongest wills and hearts in the Beastars universe. Push the right buttons, and you'll quickly see why messing with one of the coolest and most formidable predators in the animal kingdom is a bad idea. You wouldn't want those fangs bared on those who dare hurt his friends now, do you? I really can't wait for more Beastars because having read the manga, I think that Legoshi has so much more cool moments in addition to what we've already seen from him in the anime form. He's really one amazing protagonist that for me carries the story in such a strong way.
And he has a sword? I'm gonna have to watch this, yeah. I'm gonna have to watch this.
Introverts, by definition, often come with some traits, like strict adherence to rules and honor, as well as masterful skill hiding their emotions. None embody that specific combination more than Byakuya Kuchiki. Byakuya, for me, is one of the best characters in Bleach. He's the pure embodiment of the honorable samurai lord archetype in Bleach, and his code of honor is second to none, even in a place like Soul Society. However, what makes him such a great character for me are two factors. One is his backstory and his care for Rukia despite his facade. The entire development of his complicated relationship with Rukia is one of my favorite pieces of character building in the entirety of Bleach. The second reason I like him is due to just how awesome his powers are. In battle, don't let the pink petals and the flowery aesthetics drop your guard, else you'll be facing death in the form of a vortex of pain. It's not as...
He had the best Bankai. I don't care what anyone else has to say. I haven't read the manga, so except for that, don't tell me that. Don't tell me that. But he has the best Bankai, bro. He has thousands of little swords. Like, bro, anybody who is not exceptional is getting destroyed by that. That's easy. That's GG easy. Even if you're exceptional, you still might fall to that. Like, that's so deadly and destructive. Like, the only thing getting that's effing him up is you know his pride. You know, he can definitely, you know, get more creative with that.
Broken as the powers of someone like, say, Aizen, but it does look loads cooler. Byakuya can even modify Senbon Zakura's attacks to manifest in the form of a hall of swords or a single gigantic blade that few can match.
See right there, he can just have it go through and then come back around. He can do whatever.
Last but not least, how could we forget the greatest detective in the world, L? When you think of the words anime introvert taken to the extreme, you get L's appearance. Coming with his own set of weirdness and mannerisms, but highly intelligent and cunning, L's the embodiment of a person who pretty much threw all his stats on intelligence instead of spreading more of them out evenly. And that makes him the perfect match for the megalomaniac genius known as Kira. To be fair, it's the traits, like the fondness for sweets or the signature sit, that make L such a fan favorite. There's no more fitting rival for Light throughout Death Note's run. There's just no one who can match Light in terms of intelligence and willingness to do anything to one-up the other. A joking opinion that's gotten traction over the years is that the story of Death Note took a massive nosedive the moment their rivalry ended. Without the perfect main character and the perfect rival, Death Note is nothing, and I'm inclined to agree.
Okay, great. The music took me. The music took me.
So, how about your favorite badass anime introvert?
I love that show so much. So very much. Everybody's gains until white tea poison reaches 100. That's straight up. And that's a cool name right there. I don't know how they decided white tea poison was going to be the thing. But it was a cool name. It worked. Like, what did he do that was like white tea poison? Like, was it code for the school? I think he was wearing a white shirt. I don't know. That's if that I don't know. I'm gonna get out for you know, I keep rambling. So like the video, comment, subscribe. I'm out. Peace.